I'm Tabitha Williams, and welcome to What's Eating Harlem. We cover the most exciting community in the world. There's so much happening in Harlem. Let's get started. He's a veteran Harlem restaurateur. She's one of Harlem's movers and shakers. Together, they opened up another great Harlem eatery. Ruby's Vintage serves up a mean Sunday brunch.
Willing and able to be the one, the only one, if love is true, yeah.
She's traveled all around the world, but she always comes back to Harlem. Tonight at Paris Blues, we have singer-songwriter Aznavi. Renaissance to Renaissance. Our new series will cover the history of the Harlem Renaissance, starting in 1900 to today's emergence of a new Harlem Renaissance. And our fascinating historian, Lana Turner, will take us on this journey. All that and more coming up next. Sunday, and we're having brunch at Ruby's Vintage, where two seasoned entrepreneurs have come together to preserve the old while giving us a taste of something new.
Nicoa Evans-Hendricks, partner, Ruby's Vintage, executive director of Harlem Park to Park.
Brian Washington Palmer, chef partner, Ruby's Vintage.
Bell, honey. I think I'm gonna faint. No, I ain't.
Ruby D was raised in this building, and she kind of inspired the whole concept, this throwback to a different era when people, especially in Harlem, communicated, talked, they hung out. 7th Avenue used to be a really popping strip. You know, the original Red Rooster was on this avenue, and this is really about the bars and clubs. It's now on Lenox, but we thought it'd be interesting to sort of pay homage to that history that this avenue has as well.
Can you both tell me, how did this partnership that you two have, how did that come together?
Well, we've known each other a long time. Funny enough, Nicoa was working at the Empowerment Zone when I opened my first restaurant about 20 years ago. And so that's how we came in touch, and we've just stayed friendly ever since, or some friends ever since.
And what made you venture into the restaurant business?
Well, during the many years that we were friends, at some point I left the Empowerment Zone and I opened my own store. And so my store was around the corner from his restaurant at the time, Native. And I used to close the store and I would come and unwind. And he and I just kind of started having conversations about entrepreneurship and running our business and bouncing ideas off of each other about just different issues we were dealing with as entrepreneurs, because oftentimes you feel like you're alone when you're an entrepreneur, so it's helpful when you have someone that you can bounce ideas off of. And over the years, those conversations really became more strategic and like, wow, what does Harlem need and what is it missing, and wow, we should do something. And then it just kind of evolved when the time was right. He was ready to rebrand after Native had been open about 14 years. And Brian is very much a trendsetter and always on the forefront. He was ready to give the neighborhood something new and fresh. We said, you know what, maybe this is the time for us to do something together.
And then in addition to Ruby's Vintage, you have Harlem Park to Park. Can you tell me about that?
Sure. I'm one of the co-founders and currently the executive director of Harlem Park to Park, which was formed 10 years ago. This is our 10th year anniversary. And it started with about 9 entrepreneurs who were really trying to figure out how to survive in the market in 2008, 2009. And we came together and realized that there was strength in numbers. Rather than trying to operate as individual small businesses, if we banded together, we could make a greater impact and have a louder voice. And so from that, we started creating programming to market our businesses, and that 9 grew to what we currently have is 250 businesses and a full, very robust calendar of programming and economic development initiatives that are really designed to ensure that small businesses in Harlem are sustained even with all of the large development that's happening here in the community. So Ruby's was really sort of a natural progression. Brian and I have been in the neighborhood for 20 years, both doing development, bringing great venues to the community, and on my side trying to ensure that those venues survive and preserving cultural legacies. So Ruby's really became a combination of all of those missions that both of us have had individually and collectively. So it's nice to see full circle after 10 years with Harlem Park to Park, how many businesses have been able to thrive and grow, how many entrepreneurs. Brian is known in the community for being sort of one of the pioneers of certain commercial corridors in Harlem. So this is another one that he's joining the efforts of some of the other businesses that are here. So it's just exciting to see that we have been able to sustain ourselves, because a lot of communities in New York City, when big development has come in, the small businesses have been eliminated, and that has not happened here in Harlem, and we're very proud of that.
The food's more American. It's more, we're trying to make it a more affordable menu, really based on appetizers and share plates, because people come a lot in groups and just want to sample and eat and hang out. And we do have entrees, but it's more to reach the general market.
Definitely a gathering place for people in the community, really just feeling a little bit more casual. The space is beautiful. Brian's always been a genius at creating interiors that make people feel very welcome, inviting, like it's an extension of their home, but less about formal dining and just really relaxed, more lounge vibe. And affordability. His venues have always offered the neighborhood really affordable eating. He's generous in terms of what he provides in his menu, and people feel like they're getting a taste of home when they come to his spot. So this is really another example of that, from everything from the decor to the menu offering to the pricing. It's very, very inviting and accommodating to a larger group of larger audience than you usually see.
So Brian, can you tell me, what are we going to eat today?
I think being Southern Harlem, we're going to do two things. I'll do a shrimp and grits, and the Southern breakfast are two most popular brunch dishes.
And what is inside the Southern breakfast?
We get a little bit of everything. You have grits, you have potatoes, you have bacon, you have turkey sausage, you have eggs, you have a biscuit, you have salad. It's, we like to eat.
I love to eat. So let's get this started.
Here we are, the Southern breakfast and the shrimp and grits.
This looks so delicious.
Thank you. So you have your turkey sausage, your bacon, your scrambled egg, your grits, your potatoes, and your muffin, and your salad. And of course, the shrimp and grits, a little bit of tomatoes, some basil, garlic, scallions, and some cheesy grits. Hope you enjoy it. Some spice, some love, some toes and feet.
Okay, all that good stuff is all in the food.
There it is. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
About to dig into Ruby's Vintage Southern Breakfast. Where to begin? Have some of these potatoes. So good, so hearty. Love the flavor. It's nice and hot. There's onions inside the potatoes, well seasoned. This is good. Might as well help myself with some sausage too. Definitely a hearty Southern breakfast. Get out of here. It's all mine.
1 of 3, take 1.
I thought we'd be on the same page about this, and we're not.
How do I know the way I'm gonna respond to it?
I want you to get the vaccine because I want you to be safe.
What if you end up in the hospital? That's what I'm scared of.
If you was to die, man, that would literally kill me, man.
I hug you.
Yes. If it made you feel that way, bro, I would probably do. I love you too.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
Go ahead. Ooh, I really don't care. Ooh, you can go ahead.
She's traveled all around the world, but she always comes back to Harlem. Tonight at Paris Blues, we have singer-songwriter Navi.
Come walk with me. Here's what I want. And now I realize you're all that I need. Fill me up with the love I want to give you everything that I say I do. If you want to stay, we can
Navi, please tell me, I love when you open up your show, and I mean, you have an amazing voice, but I would like for you to first explain, what does Navi mean?
Navi stands for eclectic, soulful, natural, authentic, vivacious, and intriguing. So, you know, it describes my essence as an artist and as a person, and I just wanted to make, you know, the name have meaning. So.
Well done, well said.
Thank you.
It definitely has meaning, and your voice definitely gives you stage presence on top of your beautiful face.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. We're here at Paris Blues in Harlem.
Yes.
What makes this venue special and significant to you?
This venue is so special to me because I filmed my very first video. So my debut single, Unexpected Love, reached the top 40 on the Urban AC chart. So that was huge, huge, huge for us. And we had to film a video for it. And I wanted to like share the story of Harlem because the song, you know, I wrote one when I first moved to Harlem, and it's like, it was just about Harlem. And I wanted to choose a place that kind of could evoke the energy of the storytelling of the song. And Paris Blues was just the perfect place to do that.
Have your ambitions grown as an artist since then to now?
Oh my God, they've probably grown exponentially. Like, I feel more and more driven to accomplish more and more. I've been very blessed as an independent artist to do so much in the time that XD was released, but I'm just so motivated to keep like climbing higher and just getting larger opportunities and just, you know, bigger platforms and just more exposure. And, you know, I just want to just keep going as far as the universe will allow.
Well, let's talk exposure and traveling. You've been traveling all over. Where have you recently gone?
Recently, I was in Berlin, Germany. My husband is also a singer and songwriter, so we traveled as a family. I'm a mother now, so that was dope to go there. I've been to Berlin before. I performed over there. So it was great to be just, able to go and enjoy myself in not being in the artist capacity, but as a supportive wife.
You are shining on me. Show me the way. Show me what it feels like. Show me how to love you. Show me when it feels right. Show me the way. Show me what it feels like. Show me how to love you. Show me the way.
With all this that you have going on as your role as mom, wife, and you're an artist, your music is still playing in rotation on the country's top R&B station.
Yes,
your song, The Way.
Yeah.
The Way. Like, how are you handling that?
It was amazing to be able to release a new song this year. Next year, my album is finally going to be released, my next album. But, after going through that, because for a lot of artists and women, when they have a child, sometimes like their career takes that back seat, like I was saying, like, your child becomes the priority. But I still pushed through that. I still wanted to continue to make music. I still wanted to make something that my fans would love and let them know, like, this isn't falling by the wayside. Like, we're still here, we're still putting out music. So to get the love and the response that I've gotten from this new single and for it to be playing on WBLS, beyond huge and beyond like anything that I would have imagined. Like the support that we've gotten from them this year has just been, it's been amazing.
Come walk with me is what I want. Now I realize you're all that I need. Gotta behave. That's how I know you really want what you say you do. I'm willing to go whenever, wherever you want me to. Only for you, yeah. Willing and able to be the one, the only one. This love is true, yeah. You are shining on me. Show me the way. Show me what it feels like. Show me how to love you. Show me when it feels right. Show me the way, yeah. Show me what it feels like. Show me how to love you. Show me the way.
What is it about New York that makes it feel like home for you?
Well, Harlem more specifically feels like home to me. I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And when I first moved here, I lived in Brooklyn, and Brooklyn was okay. And then I was living on like the Upper West Side, and I lived on the Upper East Side. But it wasn't until I came to Harlem, because the whole thing when you move to New York, you gotta figure out, you got roommates, you're doing all this stuff, and you're figuring yourself out until you get like settled. And it wasn't until I came to Harlem, it just felt like home to me. It was just the energy, the history of Harlem. It just felt good. And being able to do this in New York, that's part of the reason I moved here, because I was like, if I can make an impact in a city like New York where there's millions and millions of people, then I felt like, it's cliche, if you can make it here, you can literally make it anywhere. It's so for real, like everything, all the challenges that you have in New York, if you're able to overcome them and still like go after your dreams and achieve something and accomplish something, like huge.
Please tell me about performing at Rockwood Music Hall. What was that like?
I love Rockwood Music Hall. It's one of my favorite venues in New York to perform at. It was amazing. The show, I just feel like it's just a certain kind of energy at certain venues in New York where when people come out and show up and fill the room, it just really moves me in a more impactful way than perhaps other venues.
What did it feel like? Give me
It just
that
felt
feeling.
like love.
Okay.
It felt like love. I mean, I actually cried at the show. I cried performing my song Someday. So it just feels like, yeah, just love, just genuine energy of people who are there that know my music, that support me. Even people who were there for the first time are like new fans. And, you know, it was like almost sold out. So the room's packed and you're just looking out to like this crowd of people, and the sound system is great. You know, it's on the Lower East Side. It was amazing. It was really great. And I'm glad that you guys had the opportunity to be there.
Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah. My name, if you don't know, my name is S9V. It's S9V. Can you say it with me? Can you say it with me? Okay, it's gonna be our turn. All right. It's S9V. S9V. It's S9V. S9V. It's S9V. Hey, that was great. That's a single. All right.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jen Jade, and I love West Eden, Harlem.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
We are chopping it up with the host of Marriage Bootcamp, Dr. Ish Major. Welcome to the show.
TGIF.
When you and I sit down and have a heart-to-heart with no phones, no distraction, am I your person? That's the question.
Every weekday.
Kelly says, I love Ish on my screen. Is he single, asking for a friend?
Join the chat.
I am single, Kelly. Who's the friend?
Kelly, who's the friend? Please comment back.
On Fox Soul.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers. The sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
My mom wanted my life to be better than what she had as a kid. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. You always want the next generation to have something better than what you had.
I'm here with Miss Lana Turner, a student in Harlem culture. She's taking us on a special journey in a segment we're calling Renaissance to Renaissance, starting with the establishment of our beloved Harlem.
Think about Alexander Hamilton's house. It was finished in 1802. Hamilton's like a big deal because we know about the show and this, that, and the other. People come see the house. But he had far more land than the house would indicate at today.
And that's still looking like farmland with these...
No, it's his country estate.
It's just an estate
It's
with
an estate.
large-scale homes.
Most people are still living in lower Manhattan. That's where the business is. But when he builds this house in Harlem, this is considered the country in 1800s.
So
and
hard to conceive it.
You're trying to get me to the 1900s.
I know.
And if I don't tell you what happened in between, it's hard to imagine, well, how did it come from this to this, you know? So if you know that in 1802, he had finished his country estate, and there were many others that were also here, it gives you in your mind a different feeling for what was happening in Harlem. So by the time, remember, his house was finished in 1802, and I said that the grid that the city fathers put together was in 1811. So they didn't come up here and start knocking down mountains right away. They weren't doing that right away. It took time. But the reason it even started to accelerate was because of the train on Park Avenue. And then people start looking around a little bit like, oh, really? Oh, this is happening? Oh, I have $2. Let me build a building. So they start building buildings along, if you think about the East Harlem right now, you can think about tenement buildings. At the time, factories were built. Tenement walk-ups were built. And the trains would go right by. By the time you get to the 1870s, there are 3 more train lines, and they're called elevated. Today, you shorten that word and you say L's. And you see the L's if you're in the Bronx that are up on high tracks. So now what you have to think of, because there was no such thing as a subway in the 1870s, any train or any transportation, this is key to understanding movement of people. I'm going to get to the black people in a minute. But you have to understand how it even gets to be that. So if you look at the 1870s, the city starts to give out, these contracts. And private developers put up their own trains. There's a 2nd Avenue train, there's a 3rd Avenue train, and then there's an 8th Avenue train. And they're all considered elevateds because the tracks go above the street. So what happens in terms of the numbers of black people coming? Okay, the subway is the critical point in this discussion. This gets you to 1900. This gets you to what we're going to talk about now in terms of where the black population is.
And here it was, I thought it was transition after World War I, and that's what brought everyone up.
No, that brings a lot of people for a lot of reasons. But there are black people who are native born in New York who are already here. So where do black people now find themselves? Enter Philip Payton. Philip Payton is born in Massachusetts. He comes to New York City in 1899. He's struggling because he's a barber. That's his trade. He's struggling. This is not happening. He takes a job as a porter in a real estate office. A light bulb goes off in his head because black people have never, ever had a community that they could just live in that was just their own. So he sees, because of the subway, go back to the subway, where there has been so much speculation over land and buildings. You've got all these apartment buildings that are sitting there, and you don't have the white middle class that they thought was going to inhabit them. Philip Payton says, aha, I can help you out. He goes and he says, I can put black people into these apartments at a premium.
That's all the time we have for now. But join us next time on What's Eating Harlem. See you uptown.